Let's go over how to fill in the details section of the VPAT. Now, a VPAT can come across as a long and complex document, but we can simplify it by dividing it into two parts, the details section and the accessibility table. We need to fill in both. And what can help you understand the relative importance of each part is to think of the VPAT as like a movie. So the details section is like knowing the time, location, and the movie theater and the theater number for the movie, and the accessibility table is the movie itself. Now, obviously, the accessibility table is the most important part, but the details are still very important. So let's go over the details now. Here we have a screenshot from the WCAG edition of the VPAT, and we can see that there are several prompts for information. So we have the name of the product along with the version, we have the report date, we have the product description, we have the contact information, we have the notes, which we've talked about previously, we have the evaluation methods used. We talked about this also in another lesson. And then we have the applicable standards and guidelines. We'll go over the standards and guidelines in a moment, but for now, let's focus with what's on the screen. Now, most of this is self-explanatory. So we add the name of the product along with the version. We have the report date. So this is the date that the ACR is issued. Then we have the product description. So here we have a nice description that tells us exactly what this product is. Then we have the contact information. So this is going to be the email address and the person that we're going to reach out to if we have any questions about the ACR. And then we have the notes section, and this is where we can add several different bits of information. We'll go over some of these in a moment. And then we have the evaluation methods used, and we've talked about this previously, but it's so important that we complete this with all of these diverse evaluation methodologies that we're going to use to account for the different criteria in the technical accessibility standard. So that's what we're going to enter in here. And beyond this training, if you look at the VPAT edition that you're concerned with, the instructions for what to put in these different prompts will be there to guide you through filling in this detailed section. But let's continue on with the screenshot and look at the applicable standards and guidelines. Remember that this is for the WCAG edition. So here we have the standard and guideline, and we can see the web content accessibility guidelines. We can see the three different versions here, 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2. And what we can also see is a column in the table for included in report. And then we have level A, level double A, and then level triple A, and then a yes or a no. So what you'll do is if the conformance level is included along with the version, then you will either leave yes or no. So for most accessible.org clients, they're either concerned with 2.1 or 2.2, and it's going to be conformance level AA. So for AAA, you'll mark no. And if it's, for example, just 2.1, then for 2.2, we'll mark every conformance level as no because 2.2 will not be included. It will not be covered in the ACR. So this is a very straightforward table. Here we're just indicating which version and which conformance levels are included in the ACR. So let's continue on. And on this next screen, we have a screenshot from an actual ACR. And this is the details section for the Google Chat product. So here we see that the name of the product and version is Google Chat. We also get the URL, we have the subdomain along with that, so chat.google.com. And then here we see the date, and that's meant to indicate the version. So the date is March 22nd or 2022. And then we have the report date. So the ACR was issued on July 5th, 2022. And then we have the product description. So Google Chat, and then again, they list the subdomain, is a web application which allows users to message and collaborate with teammates from anywhere. We have the contact information as a single email address. So it's vpat-questions@google.com. The notes section is left empty. And then we have evaluation methods used, and I'll just read through this. This evaluation was conducted with accessibility testing support from the Digital Accessible Experience DAX team at the Chicago Lighthouse. Testing was performed using JAWS, NVDA, VoiceOver, Chromevox, Color Contrast Analyzer, Chrome browser, and Firefox. So I would have this be more detailed and be more thorough, but still, here you're getting a good idea of what an ending ACR can look like when the description section is fully filled out. And then here we have the applicable standards and guidelines. So what I want you to note is what is marked yes and no. So keep in mind in 2022 version 2.2 of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines was not yet released. So that's not contemplated here, but here we have WCAG 2.0, and we can see that level A and double A are included. And then for 2.1, we can see the same. And then we also have here revised Section 508 standards published in 2017 and 2018, and we have yes. So let's go ahead and go back. And we can see here that this is not the WCAG edition of the VPAT. This is a Section 508 edition. So what they've done here is they've really added in 2.1, which shouldn't have been done. They should have used the international or INT edition of the VPAT. But this happens, right? Because a lot of times people aren't familiar with VPATs, and a lot of times people are just looking to combine things. Also, uh, there aren't there really isn't like a set like a rule set around using the VPAT and creating an ACR. Of course, we know that there are different rules that really govern it, but it's not like there's an established set document that you look at. It's more like that there's especially years ago, it's more informal. It's more just like, hey, here are these frequently asked questions. Here's some guidance around using this. With Section 508, you can go to section508.gov and you can find some other information. But there aren't, not everything, not every aspect of filling in a VPAT and creating an ACR is covered, is my point. And so sometimes you'll see uses of a VPAT like this, but this really shouldn't be the case. They should have used the INT edition of the VPAT, because here they've gone beyond Section 508, because 508 is only going to include WCAG 2.0 conformance level AA. But this is a real example. This is from Google. And by the way, if you want to look through more examples, Google has a whole trove of ACRs to look from. And you can see that they're not all the same. So they weren't all filled in the same way by the same person, etc. But let's go ahead and continue on. And so that's going to do it for this lesson. As for resources, if you need help with VPAT services, you can go to accessible.org. Accessibility Tracker is a platform that tracks all accessibility issues, not just those flagged by a scan. And it has AI to help your team with fixes. And in the description, you will find the complete playlist for this VPAT training, along with any updates for this lesson. And there will be more resources to help you with accessibility. So that will do it for this lesson. We'll continue on with the next.